Test. Thank you. Fantastic. Where you need some.
Is it?
Oh, there we are.
Sorry.
Perfect. Phenomenal. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Trevor Ramieri. I am a recently graduated student from the Landscape-Horticulture program. Previously, I was a graduate of the Culinary Management program as well, of lifelong learning here at St. Clair. And I'm actually returning in the fall 22 semester for the Honors Bachelor's degree in Business Administration and the Information Communication Technology program. I'm the proud president of Enactus St. Clair College.
Hi, I'm Bree. I was also in the Landscape-Horticulture program. I did also recently graduate. I'm also a member of Enactus here. I'm the project manager of transPLANT, which we'll be talking about today.
Now everyone, green spaces are in the heart of our communities. They not only directly impact where we live, but how we live. That critical interaction between ourselves and nature that is central to our physical, mental, and social well-being.
As our cities and neighborhoods continue to develop, we start to lose green space. So city planners are looking for more dynamic methods to incorporate nature back into our environments and combat climate change.
And we knew we could be part of that solution. transPLANT is a budding social enterprise that looks to improve both residential and institutional landscapes by combining permaculture practices with modern landscape design.
Permaculture is defined by the use of strategies that develop ecosystems. So these areas will be more sustainable and self-efficient. Our teams of students go to these sites, assess them, and decide which strategies will be most effective.
First, we concentrate on the use of native plant species. By reintroducing these plants back into our neighborhoods, we not only promote biodiversity, but we support our local pollinators.
A lot of customers can't often imagine these native plants, so we decided to develop our catalog, which is a guide broken down into groups of perennials, ground covers, shrubs, and trees. We can also present customers with groups of plants based on special interests like water conservation, pollinators, and even veggie gardens.
With this tool, we can not only guide customers through our design, but also show them just how much more impactful that these landscape designs can be.
It was also important for us to use plants with similar needs so we can conserve water. This is a technique called xeriscaping, which allows us to select plants for specific low water needs, so no extensive irrigation systems are necessary.
On the other hand, we can also design landscapes so that they can soak up rainwater and also reduce runoff on a property. This kind of installation is called a rain garden, which leverages the use of water in our designs.
These approaches will not only highlight the overall beauty of these properties, but decrease maintenance and costs. This way, we're able to impact the actual watering volume and frequency, reduce the amount of maintenance needed, or chemicals used to deter pests and disease.
Students have been eager to integrate themselves directly into our project because it's an opportunity to utilize trades to actually support our communities. In addition, through both design and installation, they have full control and participation in the creative process of our projects.
This will also give them the opportunity to interact directly with customers, understand their needs, and assess what they need in the future to provide education.
In addition, because of our relationship with the St. Clair College Horticulture program, we can actually source plants directly here from campus. In fact, in talking with our faculty, they've been really excited by the idea of introducing more native plant production directly into their curriculum.
We also have connections here with our Landscape-Ontario Windsor-Essex chapter and our local horticultural societies. They're excited not only to support the growth of this project, but support the students as well in their education.
And this year, our team received funding from the Hazelwood Properties Sustainable Cities Project Accelerator, giving us the resources to make our Windsor-Essex region more sustainable.
This program also helps support these businesses that we work with towards LEED and site certifications, which are nationally recognized rating systems that distinguish sustainable development across Canada.
In addition, with our installations, we will actually create educational resources through QR codes on our public installations. A user can scan this code and not only find out more about the species and pollinators that thrive there, but what the actual environmental impacts are of each of our designs.
transPLANT secured several projects this summer, including 2 apartment buildings, and our designs will for sure make green space more interactive and accessible for these communities.
Over this summer, we plan to fully develop our revenue model, as well as create green jobs for students on campus, with a focus on the community integration through continuing education program here at St. Clair College.
In just 6 months, transPLANT took the steps to create a greener campus and community.
Our team rescued 30 pounds of a local endangered species,
Established 4 community partnerships,
and generate $2,500 in accelerator funding.
And we have a total of 23,527 square feet that will be converted to interactive green space.
Everyone, climate change is the greatest threat we currently face as a society.
And we here at transplant Design, Install, and Maintenance Incorporated are dedicated to growing hope in the heart of our communities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Question I have is, have you ever done, or is there an option for manufacturing plant rooftop type gardens? And what would that look like? And what would be the benefits of something like that?
Absolutely. So actually, very recently, 2 weeks ago, had a conversation with someone literally about a living rooftop, because not only as well, the environmental offset, but also as a mental health space, place to take lunch, to breathe or breathe. So as far as we do ourselves, being recent graduates, we do have to interact more with industry insights from engineers to be able to get better perspective on those facilities. But it's an area we're definitely interested in pursuing, especially as we have a relationship. David Suzuki School has talked to us about their green roof in particular, and they'd really like to get our insights on not only how it can be a more sustainable space, but how we can promote more interaction in the curriculum for these students.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. If you've been involved or engaged with any municipalities or community gardens in terms of producing vegetables or any goods like that?
So we actually had the opportunity to participate in the Amherstburg Earth Day Community Garden launch. They reached out to us, and actually we have a meeting next Monday with the Youth Hub out in Amherstburg to discuss more programming and interaction there. In addition, we also, I believe it's May 31st, we're actually doing a seminar for the Amherstburg Horticultural Society. So as far as trying to really facilitate those relationships, and especially, I'm very inspired by the city of Windsor myself. I think there's so much opportunity in our urban core to facilitate more, because Windsor, Essex is such a generous agricultural area that we can still support and highlight in our urban landscapes. Thank you.
Okay, hi, thank you guys. You mentioned that you have already done 2 apartment buildings, right? So what is your actual target market? Is there something specific you're targeting with this? Or just in general, anybody that will be interested in your green space?
At the moment, we're definitely targeting anyone with an interest in updating their landscapes with native plant species, especially for our apartment buildings in general. We have obviously not necessarily complaints, but the questions of how we can actually make the space more interactive for people in apartment buildings, because you can't necessarily have like a front lawn. So for our first partnership that we had with Hazelby Properties, we're actually installing a pollinator garden, which will be an actual central for the migrating monarch butterflies, but it's also created more of an alcove shape, so that way there's space for picnic tables and patios, so that the actual residents of the building can still interact with the space.
So one more question from mine. Could you consider working with the local garden centers to promote your idea? With the summer coming around the corner?
Yeah, absolutely, and actually a challenge that we actually faced, and it was strange to have that. How are we going to get the plants, as far as we were looking, because with the native catalog, a lot is more conventional, hydrangeas, boxwoods, they're on everybody's lawns, but us being like, I need pale purple cone flowers, I need Echinacea purpurea, I need this volume of it, and going around to local garden centers and getting enough to justify. We actually had to explore creating our own green space, but we were very fortunate enough actually to find someone in Amherstburg that's dedicated entirely to native plants themselves, so they've been very excited to work with our team. And as well in the future, we'd love to actually also facilitate that sown and grown locally aspect to our business, and have our own greenhouse as well to have those resources here. Oh.
Really good presentation, thank you. My question is, did you guys take a look at the cost to do this compared to what a traditional landscaping company would charge? How does the pricing of this encourage people to go towards sustainability and local plants?
Again, I'm going to bounce back to Hazelview. We actually had their budget from previous years where they gave us about $60,000 for it. And they said that it was for annuals that they put in every single year for multiple apartment buildings, which we knew we could cut down immensely, especially using native plants, which are perennial, that come back each year. There is no need to spend that much every year just to make apartment buildings look nice. So with using those perennials as well. When they come back, there's less maintenance and care needed for them since they're already established for this area. They're native, they know the climate, they're not affected very much by the bugs and pests that are here. So that again goes back to reducing the maintenance and costs or the chemicals used to actually keep the gardens looking nice.
Just really briefly, in addition as well, the utilities is also an aspect of the education that we provide. So for example, if we were working with someone where water conservation and runoff was a priority, we could actually project and estimate as far as how much water in comparison to a more conventional space that this design would leverage.
Thank you.
Trevor, you mentioned the QR code in
Yes.
educating customers. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that QR code, how it works, and how it's incorporated in the product?
Absolutely. So as far as our QR code technology, so we're really trying to enforce it more. You can imagine, the long placards that you see at parks giving, conventional history and information about the space. We wanted to see if we could make that a little more accessible for the current age, especially since QR literacy is improved due to COVID-19. So we have a wooden slab that's sublimated that has the QR code integrated in. Someone would be able to scan that on their device and be able to be taken directly to what is a private link. So we'll have several private links on our website for our specific properties. So for example, our Riverside Hazelview property, we've got the Pollinator Gardens here. That web page would have highlighted, here's the coneflower, here's the yarrow, here's the milkweed, here's the specific butterflies that are highlighted. So that would be able, so through that QR code, someone scans it on their device, they're able to get all that information that might take up more space if we did a more conventional education tool. Thank you.